Clean Radio starts now.
My goodness. Welcome to Clean Radio. I'm Andrew Spanswick, and I'm here with my co-host Judah Friedman. After a few weeks of me not being here, I'm glad to be back. Welcome, Judah. How are you this evening?
I'm divine. Thank you for asking. Yeah. I missed you sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had to sit there.
Well, the seat feels different. I don't know. You must have a skinny bottom or something. It's not quite as cushy as
we
it
won't
was.
go there, but yes, I do. And,
anyway, I'm very excited to be back. I really missed the show, and I'm hoping we can get some calls tonight from people that have problems with addiction or problems with family members from addiction. I'd love to discuss that with people live and maybe help some people tonight, especially on this Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, it's I'm a huge sports fan as you are too, and usually when I wake up in the morning, I go to ESPN, and the first thing I see is this football player gets arrested for DUI. Nick Fairley.
Mm-hmm. And I really don't think that's the first thing you do in the morning, but
yes. Well, can I? Well, no, I go to the bed. Thanks, Andrew. And you know me so well, and so
I'm the professional.
Yeah, you are the professional. And so I go. So I read this story, and I'm like, I was talking about this when you weren't here, but it's like, if you have money. I mean, I guess what is it with drunk driving? Is it that your senses are so low that you're like, I could do this? Because obviously money isn't a factor because people with money get pulled over all the time and they don't call a cab beforehand. Is there a way we could stop this, or is this?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think most people are just embarrassed to call a cab. They don't want to admit that they're drunk, or also alcohol impairs your judgment, so you're disinhibited and you don't realize you're drunk. And people who have been drinking for a long time can actually blow a very high blood alcohol content level and feel very sober because they build up a lot of tolerance.
So we've spoken about this on the air before with criminalization, and what is your opinion though on the drunk driving? Should that be a harsher penalty?
I think a zero tolerance for drunk driving is probably the most reasonable thing we could do. It's worked in countries in Europe, and alcohol, while legal, is regulated. And the use of the roads in driving is a privilege, not a right.
Right.
So, if you combine those things, I would think for the public good and public safety of all, zero tolerance is probably the best policy.
I'd actually like to get people's opinion on this that are listening out there. Give us a call. The number is 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. What do you mean by zero tolerance?
That, if you're driving, you can't be drinking at all. You can't have any alcohol in your system.
Right, but what happens when you get caught? You lose your license first time?
Well, how each state... unfortunately, we live in America. Well, not unfortunately. In terms of this question, unfortunately, living in America, it makes it very difficult because each state is allowed to make different laws. There's no federally mandated law regarding blood alcohol content in driving. And it's rare for the federal government to come in and try and enforce a national law because they don't have jurisdiction. Carter actually did it once with the speed limit, for those who are old enough and listening, where he refused to allow block grant money for federal highway repairs if all states didn't change the speed limit to 55. And I think the only state that held out was Montana, that kept it at 70.
Go Montana. And that's why Jimmy Carter's lost very quickly, all because of that speed law. But, it's okay. So he's in the NFL. Obviously, they have these, the law, the contract, what's it called when you sign a contract and you have to be a good guy.
Like morals clause.
A morals clause, right? And I think most jobs have morals clauses too.
Either implied or direct.
Right. So at what point is it the company's job that you work for? Obviously, this guy's talented, so the NFL is not going to say, it's easier to say to an untalented NFL player, you're gone. But at what point do we start looking at the institutions and go, you're the people that work for you have a higher...
driving is not part of being a football player. You don't have to be able to drive to be a football player.
Right.
Right. So as far as his employment is concerned... the only other part of it might be, like you said, if there's a moral clause that he has to represent himself as a good standing member of the community, in which case now you're looking at whether or not he's going to be prosecuted and at what level, and whether there was a criminal element involved as well as the civil court issue regarding his whatever else might have happened. So, I'm not that familiar with the case, but generally, yes, it's a criminal issue, and if he's convicted of criminal issue, that might have some serious ramifications. But there are diversion programs that stop people from getting felony convictions on their record for a first-time DUIs.
And great lawyers are making a lot of money. That's why
the whole system is unfortunately a little skewed to those who have money. If you have money, you get the best lawyer, and judges in this country are actually, so it's something that a lot of people don't really realize, but are elected because most people don't vote, so they don't realize that judges are elected, and the number one contributors to the judges' campaigns for election is attorneys. So attorneys with a lot of money can donate a lot of money and raise a lot of money for judges and then get favoritism in court. Now, they'll all deny this, but, it's pretty obvious. That
I like
true.
watching you talk about politics. Got to say, it's sort of cool is the word I'll use. No, but you are listening to Clean Radio. If you just tuned in, that's clean with a K. You could follow us on cleanradio.com, watch the show live, watch all our past shows, find us on Facebook, and like us at Clean Radio. And one of the things we like to do at the show is we like to have, whether it's professionals or, actors or whatever it is, that people that are sober, that have gotten sober and that have had these amazing lives. I was at this showcase, this musical showcase run by somebody in the program. Her name is Michelle Garcia, and I heard this musician there, and he was sharing this story. I mean, that he had 4 months sober, and when he was in rehab, he started playing again. And I heard this kid play at this musical showcase, and I was like, "This kid's awesome." I don't want to say it too loud because he might,
I think you're dating yourself by saying he's a kid.
He's a kid, yeah. I'm from Brooklyn. I call everybody a kid.
Oh, is that what it is? That's like Chief or
it's
Big Guy?
I learned that when I was drinking, and I couldn't remember anybody's names.
Right?
Everybody was Chief or Big Guy, and
it does sound very New York.
It is. I would tell you a funny story though, because when I was in Israel, that's where I lived for a couple of years. I had a friend of mine, and I was one time bragging to him, I have so many friends, and and he goes to me, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah, I go to town every night." He goes, "I'll tell you what, we're gonna go to town tomorrow night, and if you know 10 people's names, I'll buy you whatever, And I went to town, and I was
Chief and Big Guy
I was
count?
like, "Hey, Big Guy, how you doing? What's up, Chief?" I felt so, and it's like, when you're drinking, you think everybody's your friend, and you realize you don't know their names. But yeah, and I heard this guy, and I thought, what better venue for Clean Radio than somebody that's trying to get his life back together, and.
It's inspirational.
It really is.
Hopefully, unless he's bad. I didn't hear him. So.
Yeah, you haven't heard him, and you're a bigger critic than I am. Let's welcome to Clean Radio, Dylan Stars.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good to have you here.
Can you hear?
I hope I didn't.
I can't hear myself, but
that's actually.
There we go.
I've been trying not to hear myself
lovely.
for years.
Yeah,
so.
It's all you have to do is turn the mic down, the headsets down.
Got to be a little more quiet. But thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. So
Andrew's actually a huge musical fan. I am not nearly.
He's a fan of musicals, or
he actually is a fan of musicals, but show tunes and Barbra Streisand. And no, but he's got the most eclectic taste in music, from Catherine Wheel to Joy Division. I don't know if you're familiar with these bands, but
I'm not that dumb. I mean, I'm young, but no.
Okay, no, I'd never heard of these people, and I used to make fun of him all the time. And I'm in the car one time, and I'm like, "Man, this is a great song."
No, that's not how it went. Right. He was like. Catherine Wheel, that band really, they're awful. That's the worst band ever. We're driving in the car like 2 months later, and I got Chrome playing, the album Chrome, and he's like, "This is a really good band. Who is this band?" And I'm almost afraid to tell you because you're going to realize you're a bit of a donkey. Yeah. Anyway, so I told him Catherine Wheel, and then he had to apologize.
I did. I acknowledge that, but I said right away, and I've been saying how good they are lately. So welcome to Clean Radio, and tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm 24, so not too young, not too old, but getting there. I'm sober 4 months now. Was kind of pursuing music for a while, but had that crutch of alcohol and partying to be like, I'll make it tomorrow. A lot of procrastination, and I aspired to the old songwriters of yesteryear, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, Tom Waits, and Townes Van Zandt, and all their drunken debauchery, and kind of romanticized to some degree the depression and that comes along with using substances.
I noticed you didn't leave out any of the dead ones. You left out all the dead ones.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no. Well, Townes Van Zandt's passed,
Well,
but
that's true.
I'm not good enough a guitar player to say Hendrix.
That's honest.
And not trite
It's all
enough.
right. Nobody else is either. So
Not trite enough to say Jim Morrison. So, but
well, he didn't play guitar.
yeah. But anyways, yeah, I'm sober 4 months now, and was listening to a Tom Waits video before I came over here, and I don't know if it was some acceptance speech or whatever, but he described songwriting as laying traps for songs, and the best way to write a good song is to be quiet and still when laying traps. And I thought that was really something, especially in sobriety, that I hadn't really thought of. I've been writing a lot more and playing a lot more and really kind of trying to go for it now that I have this kind of quiet mind, and it's been fantastic.
Salvador Dali, the painter, had a technique that he would hold a spoon in his hand and sit in a chair, and then he would slowly drift off to sleep, and when he dropped the spoon, it would wake him up, and that would give him an idea at that moment, right from his subconscious.
I hadn't heard that. It's
You're going to have a lot of people tonight buying spoons.
Yeah. Exactly.
As long as they don't use them for
Yeah,
heroin.
yeah,
that's
cool. Let's watch with the triggers here, Judas.
Sorry. So you're in rehab. You're in rehab, right?
Yes.
And you were telling the story. You're in rehab, and you decided you could write again. Or
Yeah, I mean,
something
I never really stopped writing. I just kind of stopped pursuing, or honestly pursuing, and that's the hardest thing. I think when you finally really have to take an inventory of yourself and be like, hey, I don't believe in anything. I don't think humans are capable of completely true altruism. But I should at least be able to honestly and purely give myself to something that I claim to love.
Right. You haven't been married, have you?
No. No. But
You'll figure that out later.
No, but I think it's really important to talk about, though, what you're talking about. I'm bringing this band up. I know they're not the greatest band, but it's the Goo Goo Dolls, and they have the great line in one of their songs that says, "See the young man sitting in the old man's bar waiting for his turn to die."
You quote that song like every
I
show.
do. Well, I love the Goo Goo Dolls.
Why don't we just change the show name to Clean's Goo Goo
Johnny
Doll
Res-
Review?
Yeah, Johnny Resnick's
is Johnny
show.
listening today?
Yeah, I get paid every time I say it. And no, but it's when I was drinking, I used to say, tomorrow I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, that's when I'm going to go and apply for that job. Tomorrow. And when you're drinking, it just doesn't come. Not to sound cliche, but it doesn't. And that sounds like what.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, God, you're welcome back to Clean
I'm in
Radio.
rare form.
And
I got we're
gonna have to bleep half the show.
I got
And
3-4 weeks of picking on Judah that I haven't had a chance to do.
you did it on the phone well enough. And so you got to rehab, and all of a sudden, so what are you doing now proactively that's different?
Just really writing every day, and redeveloping my website. I had all these things built up and was getting a little bit of notoriety, small as it may be, but through ASCAP, the Performing Rights Organization, was up for an award a year or two ago, and just kind of let all these connections that I had been building up fall by the wayside, and now I'm just trying to rebuild them and kind of put together a new album, and hopefully just start getting more gigs in LA, and it's a hard scene out there, but I didn't have the capability of doing it before, and now I feel like I do.
Well, one of the reasons I brought you here tonight, other than I do want you to play, is because Andrew, has produced a lot of albums. Actually, knows a lot of guys, and I thought it would be cool for you to hear him. Maybe you could work out one of your
I haven't heard him yet.
You haven't heard him yet. I know. It's like before the date ends, we're already setting up the
This
next
could be
date.
the ugliest
Exactly.
moment in radio.
This really could be.
Not to put any pressure on you.
No, please.
By the way, if you just tuned in, you're listening to Clean Radio Live. That's Clean with a K. The number is 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. My co-host is back. The host, Andrew, the hostess with the mostest, Andrew Spanswick. And,
Hostess with the
the
most.
host with the most, and hostess just works a lot better. The host with the most, and you're listening to us live on KFWB News Talk 980. You might also be listening to us on cleanradio.com. In the studio tonight we have, and this is going to be a first for us, we're going to have a musician play live on the air, and a guy by the name of Dylan Stars. You actually have the perfect musical name.
Yeah, it's my real name. I actually had a booking agent in Chicago who didn't believe me once. He was like, "That's quite a lame name for a band there." But
well, we haven't had a singer. We have had a dancer. We've had the Judah dance.
We've had the Judah dance.
Judah
and he's
dance.
got his T-shirt tonight
Yeah,
for those
yeah.
web watchers.
That was from Rand for my birthday present.
Yeah.
The Judah dance.
the Judah dance, and I like how he portrayed you with a bow tie. I've never seen you wear a bow tie.
Yes, I'm not part of the Nation of Islam. And
you got the glasses for it, though.
I do. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I might invite him
I'm
back.
excited. I got
Andrew's excited
I
because you're
got
getting
someone on my side.
Yeah. But just getting back to this, off subject, there should be like a certain, because I like bow ties, but I'm
Right.
always scared if you wear a bow tie, there should be like a certain color bow tie that isn't associated with the Nation of Islam. It should be like
They
if you
only wear black bow ties.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I didn't know that. You see, I just learned that. Now I could go back to bow ties.
There you go.
I was a little nervous.
Yeah, you pull out your pink bow ties again.
I think there are other elements to what determines when people think of a member of the Nation of Islam. But
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Judah drunk wearing a bow tie?
It probably happened.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, because when I was drinking, you never know what was going to happen. But there are people out there that are driving around tonight that it's Memorial Day weekend. And like I said, we have this guy. We have Dylan in tonight because he is, if you're one of the biggest things we get from people is they don't see the hope. You have parents out there that are seeing their kids that are just, like you were. I'm sure your parent, if you're a family, they were a little worried.
yeah, I mean, I think from the perspective I was, 125 some odd days ago, it's you've got a problem, and I was falling and arguing over the whether or not gravity existed. It was just like everyone else kind of saw things that.
What kind of drug problem did you have? Was it
Alcohol.
Just all alcohol?
Yeah.
That's why I knew we were an instant connection.
Yeah. So.
We're like the dying breed over here.
So how much were you drinking?
I don't like getting too much into the details, but it had it.
That means you can't remember.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I wasn't a wake up and grab a bottle of Skull vodka or
Right.
chug mouthwash. But I don't think comparing myself to someone who was in that situation does anyone any good. Basically, for me, my life was in disarray. I had no control over it, and alcohol was a main contributor to it.
I think that's really interesting because what we're seeing more and more in the research is that a lot of people that could be called alcoholics actually mature out of drinking because of consequences and stop, and then they don't really get counted in the stats of what are considered alcoholics because they really only count long-term chronic end-stage alcoholics.
So they don't count the people like us that got sober young?
Well, they'd probably count because you went to enough rehabs to support
a lot of people. Yeah.
Ethiopia.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just can get control of their own lives and move on. By stopping drinking.
Have you found the 12-step meetings helpful for you? Or?
Absolutely, and it's basically if you can look at it from the mental and the medical and spiritual diagnostics of it, and it's kind of like this has worked for so many people for so long. You'd kind of have to be remiss and just a complete fool, or just not willing to be honest to not take the advice. You see people in the rooms that stand up for take cakes for 35 years, and they tell these disparate stories of being on Skid Row, and you're like, okay, if that worked for them, and I was nowhere near that bottom, it's got to work for me, And hey, it's cheaper than Starbucks at the end even if you don't like the meeting,
It actually is cheaper than Starbucks. A lot of things are cheaper than Starbucks.
Unless you go there first and then go to the meeting.
Yeah, right. But no, West LA is where I live, and there's a lot of great sobriety and great meetings over there. And there's some musicians meetings, and you actually see some musicians. I won't say names because of the anonymity that have made it over there. And I go to the VRC on Saturday nights, and those are great meetings, and just to network and talk about sobriety with artists, because for me music is going to be a major part of it, just because it's kind of my passion, and I've finally been able to awake again to it and rediscover it. So being around people who are the same way has been extremely helpful. So,
and that's awesome. When I saw you perform, I was like, were you able to do that sober? I mean, drunk. I mean, before you got sober.
See, I was I was really worried about, but that's the sad thing is, alcohol, you feel like you can only write with it, or you can only perform with it, or etc., and it's really so far from the truth.
We were discussing that the other day, actually. at your house,
it's
Andrew.
just you don't think Bono or Keith Richards or whatever, you don't think they're doing a 100-date world tour and just boozing every night. But
Keith Richards, maybe.
Bono
Keith
probably
Richards doesn't
too.
exist.
Oh, you think so?
Or
He drinks a lot of
Springsteen.
lager.
Like those guys go out on the road, for a year. You don't think they're, taking down a bottle of Jack Daniels just to like get to a state. It's so.
So how did that feel? Was that just an amazing feeling when I saw you at the musical showcase that you were able to do that sober?
Yeah, every day is an amazing feeling when I can, because. And I get a lot of people reacting like, "Oh, I didn't expect that from you, tall, lanky."
Yeah, I said the same thing. I compared you to Rick Astley a little bit. Not that he looks like Rick Astley. He's a very handsome man next to me on my right. And, but when Rick Astley sung, and then you saw the music video, you couldn't believe that voice came out of Opie.
That's how I felt about you.
Yeah,
I get that all the time too. Sorry, go on.
No, but it's just kind of for me, it's reaching that state of just. Complete honesty. How I write a song and try and perform a song, in a very emotive way, and being able to kind of feel that more, and not like wake up the next day and be like, yeah, I think I played a great set. And I wasn't getting drunk or hammered before every show, and it wasn't like every time I went out I was waking up with a 5-day hangover. But it was enough to where it was becoming extremely detrimental and just not worth it.
How did you get introduced to alcohol? How did that start becoming your life? How long have you been drinking?
I probably like stole glasses of wine at weddings when I was like 9 or 10 or whatever.
Right.
Just kind of like the standard story. And then in high school started drinking with friends, etc. Yeah, it's progressive, and it sneaks up on you.
I think that's no. I think that what you're saying is amazingly interesting. It does. It sneaks up on. It really does. I think that's what people out there don't realize is that as you're going through, you don't remember when it started getting bad because it just really snuck up on you.
There's no guidelines to bad things that happen in any other aspect of life. It's not like you're in a bad marriage and like one day.
Oh, if your wife tries to stab you, that could be considered
yeah.
bad.
By the way, if you just tuned in, you're listening to Clean Radio Live. That's Clean with a K. You're listening to us live on KFWB News Talk 980. Also, you might be listening to us on cleanradio.com. That's Clean with a K. We have some great news. We have these amazing T-shirts that we're coming out with for Clean Radio, and we've had a bunch of requests already. So if you'd like, Andrew's going to kill me because I like doing this, but if
giving all my money away.
I'm giving them away. And if you want a Clean Radio T-shirt, just go to Facebook and tell me where to send it and your size. And if you're scared to tell me your size, and everybody on Facebook to know
and
your
use
size,
a fake name,
use a fake name, or go to contact us at Clean Radio. And we're in the studio tonight with an amazingly talented musician. His name is Dylan Stars. We're gonna actually hear him live play after the break. And give us a call here at 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980.
Yeah, and if you're out there drinking and driving, stop.
Yeah, stop. I mean, right. If you're listening to us right now and you're drunk, please just pull over your car, call a cab.
It's going to be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and we're usually not like that. We're not like, it's so funny, we're not like, they had a name for that. I can't think of it right now.
Nagging?
Nagging, yes, but it was the temperance
Maternal?
movement.
The
I was thinking
temperance movement, right.
The temperance movement. We're not like these people that because we don't do it
Well,
anymore.
they were women. So.
Yeah, I know. But yeah,
maybe we could have a sex change and we'd start a new temperance.
But yes,
movement.
we're so you're definitely on a roll tonight. And but it's not like we're those people. We're not like the evangelical, that we're like because we changed. The evangelicals because we changed. We're telling people out there to change. We go out all the time. We're out places where there's alcohol. alcohol, where there's other things. And we don't do it, but this is one of those things. Don't get in a car and drive.
Right. I've never understood why Lindsay Lohan was doing coke off her dashboard on Sunset. Did she not know about Fountain?
Ego. Yeah, right. She didn't listen to Betty Davis' advice. Never.
Yeah, right.
Always take Fountain.
Always take Fountain.
Yeah. Did you know that was Betty Davis' advice? For
I
all
love
the-
LA.
Yeah.
You hear all these stories at like the Cedar Sinai meetings and stuff. It's just like, whoa.
Yeah, it's true. By the way, I moved out here. I had 5.5 years sober, and I thank God I heard a guy out here say you don't have to use drugs to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. Because when I was 5.5 years sober out here, I was hearing I thought you had to have a tattoo around your, somewhere in order to belong to the 12-step meetings out here.
I don't think an ankle tattoo would be good on you.
Yeah, that probably
A
not.
little
But
ringlet.
that's another thing. If
It's
you're
the only
above
thing
the,
big enough on him for a
yeah,
tattoo.
if you're above the age of 30, no tattoos. And
Anyway, let's give out the number one more
yeah,
time.
the number here is
and,
888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. You're listening to Clean Radio. That's Clean with a K.
Yeah, and I'd really like people to call and
Yeah.
share their stories, or if they have a problem with themselves or a family member, please call and we can get you some help.
And when we come back, live stylings of Dylan Stars.
Excellent.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? KLEAN Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to KLEAN Treatment Center, that's clean with a K, cleantreatmentcenter.com.
Welcome back to Clean Radio. If you would like to join in on the discussion or are in need of immediate addiction assistance, call 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. Or go to cleanradio.com. That's clean with a K. Now, back to Andrew and Judah.
You got the shirt on, Judah, no dance. Well, I don't understand.
I'm going to dance when he sings. I'm
Are you
saving it.
gonna-
I got
are
the
you
Judah
gonna
dance.
do the dance?
I don't want to distract him by dancing as he's playing his. Welcome back to Clean Radio. We're in the studio tonight with Dylan Stars.
And for people that are out there that don't know yet, you can see us on cleanradio.com on a live stream.
Right.
And then also on about every Wednesday, the show is reposted with all the video.
Yeah.
So it's always cool to go back and look at the shows.
It actually really is, and we have some really exciting news. We're going to be on XM pretty soon.
Yeah, we're going on XM Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a couple weeks, June 17th.
Yeah, so we'll still be broadcasting out of here.
Yeah, we're going to always have 980 as our flagship station, but we'll be also heard around the world.
Yeah.
Oh, not around Canada and America. That's the world, and that's where we want to be
Actually,
heard.
we already heard around the world
Right,
through the
because
internet.
through the internet, right? That's
The interwebs.
let's cut to the chase. Let's get right to Dylan Stars, right?
Yeah, I'm sick of correcting you.
Yeah, I'm sick of having you correct me too. And what's the
I'm
story?
gonna grace you all with a new song I wrote. Actually, I started it in treatment in Colorado, and kind of about moving out here and moving on with my life. It's called "Over the Hill and Up to the Pine."
Great.
Well, the desert gonna sink you if you think no rain in the valley mean you're gonna stay dry. And the light's always blinding, but it show you the way if you open your goddamn eye. I wanna take my baby in a blanket tonight. Wanna lay 'em both down in the morning light. Gone up and over the hill and down through the pine. Higher and higher, boy, you better climb across another state line into a balanced state of mind. 10 cigarettes and an empty bottle of wine. Where the river gonna come and the train gonna rise. but you tore up your ticket, boy, you lost that ride. And when the stars are didn't guide you, not be beside you, you only got yourself left to blame. And dream on. So come on and man up. Come on and carry on. Carry on up and over the hill and down through the pine. Higher and higher, boy, you better climb across another state line. Into a balanced state of mind. With 10 cigarettes and an empty bottle of wine. And well, learn to love yourself, boy, and don't be proud. And keep your head above the water and out of the cloud. Don't let the devil know you're sober, let it fill your cup. He'll tell you, boy, you know that the war is over and you might as well drink up. So come on and man up. Come on and carry on. Carry on up and over the hill and down through the pine. Higher and higher, boy, you better climb across another state line. Into a balanced state of mind. With 10 cigarettes, oh, 10 cigarettes and a whole bottle of wine. Well, darling, I'm sorry for taking so long. Oh, for saying I was alright even though I knew that I was wrong. But I finally come to find the difference between our love, the dusk and the dawn. And the dawn is over the hill and up through the pine. Higher and higher, boy, you better climb across another state line. Into a balanced state of mind. With nothing, oh, nothing but my heart and my stride.
Yeah, excellent. Woo!
Hey, we got
Great.
clapping from outside the studio too.
Yeah.
Can I pick them or what?
You can pick them, Judy.
Yeah, I figured you'd really enjoy. That was amazing, man.
Thank you.
What's that song about? What so the people, if you just tuned in, you're listening to Clean Radio Live. You're not listening to musical, right? But we have in the studio tonight with us Dylan Stars. He's sober 4 months. He wrote that song.
Kind of ongoing. It's not completely done yet. It's a little, little rough around the edges still. But kind of last month been cleaning it up a little bit and kind of letting it breathe. And it's just about the idea of kind of traveling, which I'm literally doing and metaphorically doing, and kind of leaving things behind, because the ultimate goal for any young guy, I think, is to really find, at least for me now, is to, kind of find love. And, I wouldn't play, half the songs I write are about, love and stuff, so it's kind of like about finding that type of love and that journey to, laying the blanket down, ultimately, but kind of the hardships and that I'll have to go through. I kind of wanted to give it an old like Western-y vibe,
Right.
But that's basically the gist.
And this is why every parent should have their kid play guitar, because chicks dig guys that can play guitar.
There's already groupies out front.
Yeah, right. We're gonna come out on the street, but it's so true. I told my
By
sisters
the way,
that.
Judah's a cockblocker, so I don't know if I can say that on the line. Oh
my God.
that got dumped. Anyway,
You are in
sorry.
rare form tonight.
I am. I've been on a plane. I got up at 3 o'clock this
You
morning.
did. You've been in
fly
Ithaca,
back
New York.
here.
But I think it's you haven't just been on a plane. You've been in Ithaca, New York, dealing with.
My dad has cancer. So
Yeah.
it's been a little rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was pretty amazing. I mean, what's next? Are you looking for?
Hopefully, Clive Davis was listening, and
He's actually a frequent listener
Yeah,
of our.
good.
You actually remind me. Do you remember a band Gomez?
yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't listen to them that much, but yeah,
Their first album, they won the Mercury Award in Britain.
was it the Euro Song Contest thing or whatever?
And they were just amazing guys, and they kind of. The weird thing is that their image didn't match their sound at all. They were like, sort of like little chubby guys from England.
Yeah.
And then they came out and sung this like heavy blues influenced American kind of like, very cool music, and it didn't kind of work.
And that's why, I mean, the song Video Killed the Radio Star is because we became so used to, musicians when all of a sudden you started seeing them.
Right. You saw Foreigner for real, and
Right,
you're
you
like,
saw
oh my
For-
God,
right.
they do look like foreigners.
Right.
See, that's why I'm trying to do all the new technologies like radio, and break.
I don't think you have anything to worry about. Your song, it matches your image.
Yeah, you definitely have a face. You definitely have a face for being
radio.
a musician, and for radio and being a musician. And so you're obviously you're looking for representation. You're new to town.
Yes. I didn't get off. I flew here, but then I started riding a bus because I didn't have a car. So I'm not that typical LA story of getting off a bus.
You're lucky you didn't ride the one in West Hollywood where the guy got shot the other day.
Yeah,
I am. Yeah,
It happened right outside our treatment center.
Oh, that's a nice thing to say.
Yeah,
geez.
It
and
was actually right outside the sheriff's station.
right outside. It happened right outside the sheriff's station. That's why he got caught a minute later. I mean,
I'm trying to insert a bad Bob Marley joke, but
and listen, yeah. So I mean, so what? So you're getting out of your sober living tomorrow,
yes,
Or-
or soon.
and are you moving? Are you leaving LA? Or are you going to play?
No, I'm staying in LA. I'm I got a showcase this Saturday, Friday. Sorry, Friday is June 1st. The Musicians Institute, open to the public. Some other artists.
What time is that?
It's at 8:30. I think the show starts.
Oh,
So
great.
I'll be playing at 10:30. It's the auditorium or the theater at the Musicians Institute in Hollywood. Everyone, my website's up and will be up and running hopefully in the next 2 weeks. But for the moment, if you email me at dylan.stars, it's DYLAN STARRS @gmail.com, I will send 2 free MP3s of stuff that I'm working on, including that song.
Great. And we'll put that link on
Yeah.
cleanradio.com.
And he also has
so-
stuff on iTunes.
Yeah,
Right.
and check me out on iTunes. And I'm just really trying to take the gifts that I have. I think are playing and kind of being emotive, and trying to translate that and really help with sobriety, because I try and write what I know, and right now what I know is the struggles with addiction and the kind of light at the end of the tunnel of recovery. So a lot of the music I'm writing now is about that. So
And I think it's
That's
also
great.
because I think it's the universal struggle right now. I mean, it's one of the biggest. We're in a society where people are dealing with it's not just drugs and alcohol, with weight, with consumption.
yeah, this
with-
thing on HBO I see is just staggering. Granted, I used to be a fat kid, so I don't want to say too much.
That makes
about-
2 of us. You think that has something to do with it? With 2 former fat kids?
I was a
just-
skinny kid that got chubby. so I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
right. You see, that's why you're blessed, and we've had this conversation.
Yeah, because I think of myself.
Yeah, you
as
think
skinny.
of yourself
I have
as
no
skinny,
idea, yeah.
and it's like that scene from A Breakfast Club. When you're fat, I don't know if you can relate to this. When you've been fat, no matter how skinny you ever get,
Right.
you always think you're fat.
It's called.
Well, I mean, that's
body
the whole
dysmorphic
alcoholic thing
disorder.
too.
Yeah.
Because, I think that might be one of the reasons why people don't realize that they're alcoholics when they are. It's like you think of yourself as a, like a sober, functioning member of society, and then you're not willing to see yourself in a different lens.
I got to be honest. I never thought of myself in that regard. I couldn't even be in denial.
Yeah, I did. I tried it for a week.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah, but it's because but it's sort of is it hard relating to people on a
No,
because
oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say because of the booze, because you drank, and a lot of people in your age range and my age range for that matter are doing far worse far different narcotics.
Man, I
I like Judah trying to pretend like he's under 40.
yeah.
Oh my god!
I mean, in treatment and in the rooms, you see. I mean, prescription drugs. I'm sure you all see it in the are far more widespread with abuse problems, I think, than in my demographic. But I think everyone's got a problem, and this was just my major problem at the time. I'll have a new problem tomorrow when I wake up, but I think you can.
I got 99 problems.
Yeah, right.
Andrew's actually got 100 problems.
I've got 100 problems.
I got 99 problems, but the 99% ain't one. Or no,
Right. By the way, if you just tuned in, you're listening to Clean Radio. That's Clean with a K. You're listening to us live on News Talk and on News Talk 980 KFWB. You might also be listening to us on cleanradio.com, where you could live stream this or see exactly what we look like. But it's also pretty cool because we're going to have this show up on Clean Radio on Wednesday, and you could actually hear Dylan perform. Andrew, give this guy some advice. Give this, because you're nobody to better give this kid musical advice as far as what to do than you.
Just work hard.
Just work hard?
Yeah. It's one of those things, I mean, obviously you have the talent, so it's just a matter of just putting in the effort. Waiting for the lucky break. But the other thing is that, a lot of musicians, have very successful careers, and people don't really realize who they are necessarily. A lot of my good friends who are really great musicians do a lot of music within the industry of film and music, and don't necessarily have a solo career that you know of, but make a lot of money,
right? You know who is one of those guys?
Actually, that's one of the sad things right now is that the whole industry is changing so much away from the actual performer and their recognition, because there's stranger outlets for them to get known and recognized. And the money really still in the industry now is all revolving around publishing, of course, and then soundtrack work. But I think it will come back. I mean, at some point, music's always changing. Everybody said rap would kill rock and roll forever.
And that's what I was praying.
Right. Now, and nobody buys rap anymore. So
I remember thinking, oh, what a fad.
Yeah.
I remember thinking to myself, it
was like the hair bands all went nuts. You
Yeah.
know, they were like, oh, I mean, 1 week, I think we went from Cinderella and Wasp to Run DMC
and then Nirvana.
And then Nirvana came in, yeah.
And so you're sober now. You're where are you going next? You got your own place.
Yeah, I'm in the process. I'm making.
Is this questions for the groupies?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
A lot of groupies out there.
I'm doing some classes at UCLA. One of them is a DIY music marketing class. It's been really helpful in kind of developing my marketing plan, because I got to treat myself like an upstart business, if I want to have any type of success. So I'm kind of developing a marketing plan right now and just trying to write and working. I won't say where, but it's paying well. I'm not on the street or anything. Don't worry.
Although I heard you can make more on the street these days than the average job.
Yeah,
so.
right. I'm not a hopper. But yeah, things are going well. You just get with anything, I think, in sobriety, and especially something that's as much a pipe dream as a successful musical career is, it's got to be realistic daily expectations of myself.
The big thing, like I said, is work. The guys that I've seen really make it were just incredibly ambitious. And like Henry Rollins from Black Flag, I remember in '84. God, I'm dating myself. But
I wasn't born then.
Okay, well, I was touring around with Black Flag for a little bit.
Andrew
that's
was
pretty awesome.
Andrew was actually 34.
And but Henry would get up at 6 a.m. and go do promotions for the band.
Yeah,
every morning. Never without a break. Just had that drive.
And part of it, I lived in Austin for a while, and there are so many great songwriters down there. But everyone, we all fall into the like all alcoholics do, the world should come to me. And that just, especially in music, that's not the case anymore.
Certainly not.
There are no, there are no walk hard stories or walk the line stories. Not walk hard, sorry.
That was the Dewey Cox story,
yeah,
right?
Well, people don't realize, even Van Halen. Van Halen and amazing band sold millions and millions of albums, but they were selling out huge parties and major clubs in LA, and they couldn't get signed to save their lives.
John Mayer, very similar, by the way. He was not that I'm a
so
big
handsome handsome.
Not that I'm a big fan, but he would go on the road never mind, off of John Mayer. But it sounds like you actually have that work.
You were on him.
Are we gonna get bleeped twice? I was
Andrew's in
I'll
there.
get bleeped.
Yeah,
I'm the bad guy.
This is the second time you've actually. I've never.
I'm out of practice.
Yeah,
you know,
I've never got
four shows out.
I'm actually proud to say I've never been bleeped, and you.
That's not true.
I've never been bleeped.
No, I actually had them just edit you out whole sections of the
Yeah,
show.
well, that's a different story. It hasn't been for cursing or
Okay.
one of the 7 words. So, what is the Musicians Institute exactly? Where you'll be playing?
It's in Hollywood. You know, I honestly don't know too much about the school itself. It's just where we'll be doing a showcase. There'll be hopefully some booking agents for clubs around town and managers, and you know, hopefully things go well, and hopefully, you know, it's just basically, you know, it's not buying a lot of lottery tickets, but I just, you know, playing and, you know, trying to get a new product out that I can, you know, pitch to clubs, get gigs, and, you know, build from there. And, you know, obviously this is hopefully will help a little bit. And
I gotta say something. There's nothing wrong with dreaming big. I'm looking at the guy in front of me, and I'm gonna use Andrew as an analogy. To his credit, you've wanted to do things, and you've done them. I mean, you've done some
very different things.
Yeah, you've done. I mean, you had an internet business by the time you were like a baby, and you sold it for just oogles amount of money. You did lose it the next day, but
it was a stock market crash in
right.
2008.
But you've done the music industry, you've done the movie industry, you've done things you wanted to do, and it's okay. I'm not saying that you're not, but it's okay to dream big.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, I don't think it's about, you know, I think most people look at things and they're scared of risk and they don't want to take risks. And, you know, you're never going to do anything if you don't take a risk.
Right.
So, you know.
for me, you know, part of my disease was, you know, kind of wanting the recognition more than I wanted to do the work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So now it's still dreaming big, but, you know, it's a daily.
Well, that entitlement we see a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that there's a lot of entitlement
Right.
in younger generations. People don't realize how hard people have worked, and also there's an expectation that money should follow creative success, and you know, that's not always true.
Most of the time, it's not true in the artistic.
The vast majority.
Right.
I mean, you know, and even if you look at things like sports, there's 1 million kids playing high school football, and every year drafted into the NFL is only 1,654 people, right?
Point.
Right, and only half of them play.
Right.
So it's 800 out of 1 million, or 800, out of 1 million every year.
But you're right. It's that alcohol. You're right. The alcoholic, grandiose thinking, and I think a lot of people. I don't think it's just an alcoholic thing. I think a lot of people in America have a grandiose.
My point that I wanted to finish though was that just because you can't play in the NFL doesn't mean you can't enjoy football,
Right.
or playing football.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's a lot of different ways to do it. And, you know, some of the musicians you mentioned earlier have had rises and peaks of, you know, great success and huge devastation. So it's a roller coaster ride, and it's that in any business or any art form or anything. So it's really about believing in yourself and just staying honest to what you want to do artistically.
Right. And if you're having fun, go with it. By the way, if you just tuned in, you're listening to KLEAN Radio Live. That's KLEAN with a K. You might be listening to us on KFWB News Talk 980 Los Angeles, our flagship station. Also, you might be listening to us on KLEANradio.com. That's KLEAN with a K. The number here is 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. Follow us at KLEANradio.com or at Facebook, KLEANradio/Facebook, and like us. And we want to give away some shirts, so tell us if you want them.
I think we've got a lot of people on the holiday weekend drinking.
Yes, you know, it's yeah. I mean, nothing against it. Just don't drive. That's our big thing. Don't get in the car intoxicated, because I don't want to get killed.
Oh, there's other problems too.
Like what?
You know, family problems.
Yeah.
Abusive problems.
Yeah.
Getting in fights.
Yeah. Happens, I mean...
Destroying your liver.
I mean, we're not... Yes, these are...
Accidents in general.
Yeah, it's...
falling downstairs.
Yeah.
Call it Happy Time Radio.
We like to be a little informative, but you're right. You know what?
Well, some people hook up.
You know, but you know, right? But those are the unhappiest people in the morning.
But then they get HIV.
But you know what you're talking about? You're right. I don't think a lot of people do talk about that enough. Is what happens when a lot of people do drink. Because that's when all that stuff happens. You know?
Yeah, you know, anybody. You know, I've owned 9 hospitals I've been involved in directly, and I have 2 rehab centers. So, I just anybody that thinks that alcohol is a problem, go to the emergency room on a Saturday night and just sit in the waiting room, and the smell and reek of alcohol is just unbelievable.
That's where I met my girlfriend. It's the truth, by the way. It's not because she was that. She was actually bringing a friend of hers in, and I happened to have been in the emergency room.
I was about to say, bars close at 2, but emergency room...
They're all night. If you ever want the best and worst of what society has to offer... Go to.
You got tired of pushing that shopping cart in the supermarket.
Listen, you have nothing else to do in the ER for 16 hours. You flirt. Okay, let me tell you something. And you have kept. You
You're
have
going after like the grieving and the people that are.
No, I didn't go after. She had just brought her friend. I didn't go after like somebody that had.
I'm going to confirm this story.
And Judah, where do they sell doctor's smocks in the LA area?
Yeah, right. And then when they confront him, he goes, "I'm a veterinarian."
Hey, but I'm honest, and but you share a story. You're completely right. Go to the emergency room, and you hear just some of the saddest stories of what happened the night before or that night.
Just horrible things.
Right, and I think we like to laugh and we like to joke, but alcohol, drugs do have. I mean, obviously you've known tons of tragedy, and we're not trying to scare you. These are just realities. People out there, you have a lot of people that think you go to Whole Foods and that makes it okay to smoke a lot of pot. Right. Somehow they've canceled, the
my favorite one is that I had a girlfriend once that had really bad bronchitis going into pneumonia, and she smoked so much pot and did mushrooms and all sorts of stuff, but she refused to take antibiotics because she didn't want to put anything in her body.
That's awesome. I lived in Colorado
crazy
for a while.
thinking.
I know that.
It's crazy. I mean, people going up to Runyon, yet they're taking Runyon Canyon, which is a canyon in LA, doing the hikes and the jogs, but it's okay to use ecstasy. And it not real. And it's one of those things, and we're not saying it's anything against it. It's just be careful. These things. If you're putting something in your head and you're putting something in your brain that could take you high, the odds are it could take you low too.
I mean, for me, I think the best way I ever heard it put was, drink, do drugs, whatever, and just ask yourself, why are you changing the chemical composition of your brain? Like, what is it about yourself that you don't like at that moment? And if you can honestly answer it, like, hey, nothing's wrong, I just really want to do it, then hey,
and the other thing, I mean, people get to the point where these things catch up with them, and you're entering a whole nother level of pain and suffering.
Right.
And I think that's what we're really talking about is that, not people that are casually out there drinking and doing okay and can handle it, but people that have now got a chronic progressive problem where they or a family member is really in pain and suffering and they don't know what to do.
And I mean, let's also, let's give a little shout out to, the troops out there. It is Memorial Day weekend, the troops that have served us and the people that have allowed us to be in this radio station, basically, and talking about this stuff. And,
I actually flew out with a veteran on the way to New York, and he sat next to me, and we talked a lot about what was going on with all his friends, and they're all having really major problems with alcohol and sleeping pills.
Oh, that's horrible.
They gave Ambien out like candy over there, he said. So.
And if anybody out there does know a troop that is struggling, that's come back from Iraq, the war, give us a call at KLEAN. We will do everything we can to get them help, even if it's free of we will do whatever we can.
Just give them everything.
You have a deep love for the veterans, and
right. I give away a lot of free stuff.
You do give away a lot of free stuff, and this is for an amazing cause. Let's thank our guest again tonight, Dylan Stars.
Yeah, Dylan, I love your song. I really did.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Now, we're gonna have you again, and I really love having that in studio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's first for KLEAN Radio.
It is a first, and you broke.
And if Judy didn't intimidate every other musician out there, it'll be fine.
Yeah, and that's why they're not coming in when I ask them to come in.
Maybe
I was like, "What? That's he just didn't know me well enough to say no."
Exactly.
The next time I go, please, he's gonna be like, "I don't think so." And Dylan Starr, you could catch him performing at the Musicians Institute when again?
10:30 on Friday.
10:30 p.m.
Yes.
This Friday night.
Yes.
Go to the Musicians Institute. Listen to this guy. He's got,
sorry. There's there's an after party at the Pig and Whistle. I'm not gonna be drinking, but if you've been listening to the show and you have a family member, come have a beer. I'll have a club soda or an iced tea, and I'd love to get to meet people that really like the song, and if it affected you in any way, and email me at dylan.stars@gmail.com with Dylan with like Bob Dylan and stars with 2 R's.
We're going to put that on our Clean Radio link.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And,
Yep.
Andrew?
Hey, I'm glad to be back,
Yeah, you sound just so excited.
I am. And then I got next week is going to be exciting too.
Yeah, next week will be exciting. And the
gonna be
week
a big
after.
week.
No, it's 2 weeks from today. We go to XM.
Yeah.
And
why does that make next week any less
It
exciting?
doesn't. Why is next week? Yeah, now we sound like we're having a.
Well, it's it's like a marriage.
Yeah, we are married. And I do love you. Thank you, Clean Radio, for listening to us. Thank you, all the people out there.
Yeah, hope everybody has a good Memorial Day weekend and a safe one. And we'll see you next week at 8 p.m.
Talk to you later.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? KLEAN Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to KLEAN Treatment Center, that's clean with a K, cleantreatmentcenter.com.